There is a small dark bottle sitting in the back of a cabinet somewhere in your house right now, the kind that smells faintly earthy and feels thick between your fingers. Most people have no idea what it is even for anymore, but castor oil was once one of the most relied upon ingredients in any household, and almost nobody alive today uses it the way their great-grandmother did. The beauty industry, the pest control industry, and the hardware aisle have all built separate products around problems your great-grandmother solved with one single bottle. They do not want you noticing how often that one bottle could have replaced what is sitting in your shopping cart right now. Today, we are counting down 21 castor oil uses our great-grandmothers relied on, and number one is going to surprise you because it has almost nothing to do with skin or hair at all. Let's get into it. Number 21, seasoning a cast iron skillet. Your great-grandmother never threw away a rusty, dull cast iron pan when a little oil and patience could bring it back to life. Rub a thin layer of castor oil over a clean, dry skillet, then bake it upside down in the oven at a low temperature for about an hour to build a smooth, non-stick coating. The oil polymerizes onto the metal surface, forming a protective layer the same way other cooking oils are traditionally used for seasoning. Pre-seasoned cast iron pans cost $30 to $50 more than an unseasoned one. She kept one bottle that took care of her skillet for decades. Number 20, leather shoe and boot conditioner. Dry, cracking leather boots were never something your great-grandmother replaced before their time. Rub a small amount of castor oil into the leather with a soft cloth. Let it absorb for several minutes, then buff with a clean cloth. The oil works its way into the leather fibers, restoring flexibility and helping prevent further cracking. Leather conditioning creams cost $10 to $15 a small tin. Our great-grandmothers understood that one good pair of boots could last a lifetime with the right care. Number 19, squeaky hinge lubricant. A squeaky door hinge or a stiff drawer track was never a reason to call anyone for help. Apply a small amount of castor oil directly onto the hinge or track with a cloth or cotton swab, working it into the moving parts. The thick oil clings to metal surfaces longer than thinner lubricants, which means it often needs reapplying less often. Lubricant sprays cost $6 to $9 a can for a similar basic function. She kept her bottle handy for the whole house, not just the kitchen. Number 18, rust prevention on garden tools. Rusting garden shears and shovels were never something your great-grandmother accepted as inevitable. Wipe a thin coat of castor oil over clean metal tools before storing them for the season, covering blades and moving joints completely. The oil forms a barrier against moisture, which is the primary cause of rust forming on exposed metal. Specialty tool protectant sprays cost $8 to $12 a can. Before tool protectant sprays existed, your great-grandmother had already kept her tools rust-free for years. Number 17, wood furniture polish. A dry, dull wooden tabletop was never something your great-grandmother paid a furniture shop to restore. Rub a small amount of castor oil into the wood with a clean cloth, let it sit for a few minutes, then buff away the excess. The oil conditions the wood grain and can restore some of the natural shine that fades over time. Specialty furniture polish costs $9 to $14 a bottle. She did not need a brand-name polish to keep her dining table looking cared for. Number 16, sewing machine lubricant. A stiff, sticking sewing machine was never something your great-grandmother set aside for a repair shop visit. Apply a single drop of castor oil to the moving parts of the machine as directed in the manual, then run the machine slowly to work the oil through the mechanism. The thick consistency of castor oil made it a traditional choice for keeping fine machine parts moving smoothly for generations of seamstresses. Specialty sewing machine oil costs $6 to $8 a small bottle. Our great-grandmothers understood that the same bottle in the sewing basket could keep a machine running for decades. Number 15, cuticle and nail oil. Dry, cracked cuticles were never something your great-grandmother paid a salon to fix. Rub a small dab of castor oil into each cuticle and nail bed before bed, massaging it in gently for a minute. The thick, rich texture of castor oil sits on the skin and helps soften the hardened tissue around the nail. Specialty cuticle oil pens cost $6 to $9 for a tiny bottle. She kept her nails looking cared for with the same bottle she used for the squeaky door. Number 14, cracked heel balm. Rough, cracked heels in the winter were never something your great-grandmother covered up instead of treating. Rub a generous amount of castor oil onto clean feet before bed, then pull on a pair of cotton socks to lock the moisture in overnight. The thick oil softens dry, thickened skin, while the socks keep it pressed against the surface through the night. Foot cream and balm products cost $8 to $14 a tube. Before specialty foot creams existed, your great-grandmother had already found her own overnight fix. Number 13, lip balm. Chapped lips in cold weather were never a $2 or $3 problem in your great-grandmother's house. Dab a small amount of castor oil onto the lips whenever they feel dry, letting it melt in from the warmth of your fingertip. The thick oil sits on the surface of the lips and helps seal in moisture far longer than thinner oils. Name-brand lip balm tubes cost $2 to $4 and run out within weeks. She called it her winter bottle, and it lasted her family the whole season. Number 12, dry scalp treatment. An itchy, flaking scalp in the winter was never something your great-grandmother solved with a medicated shampoo. Massage a small amount of castor oil into the scalp before bed, let it sit overnight, then shampoo it out thoroughly in the morning. The thick oil helps soften dry, flaking skin on the scalp the same way it softens dry skin anywhere else on the body. Medicated dandruff shampoos cost $12 to $18 a bottle. She did not need a medicated label to keep her scalp comfortable through the winter months. Number 11, dandruff relief rinse. Persistent flaking on the scalp was never something your great-grandmother let embarrass her in public. Mix a few drops of castor oil into your regular shampoo before washing, distributing it evenly through wet hair. The added oil helps offset some of the dryness that ordinary shampoo can leave behind on the scalp. Specialty anti-dandruff treatments cost $10 to $15 a bottle for a few months of use. Our great-grandmothers understood that a few drops mixed into something they already owned could solve the same problem. Number 10, eyebrow and lash conditioning. Sparse, dry eyebrows and lashes were never something your great-grandmother treated with a $50 growth serum. Use a clean mascara wand or a cotton swab to apply a tiny amount of castor oil along the eyebrows and lash line before bed. Many people have used this method for generations to keep the hair and surrounding skin conditioned, although strong scientific evidence specifically proving hair growth from castor oil alone remains limited. Brow and lash conditioning serums cost $20 to $50 a small bottle. She called it her overnight brow treatment, passed down the same way her mother passed it to her. Number 9, stretch mark and scar massage oil. Stretch marks and healing scars were never something your great-grandmother treated with a specialty $50 oil. Massage a small amount of castor oil into the skin over the area daily, working it in gently for a few minutes each time. The thick oil keeps the skin supple while it heals or settles over time, which is the same basic goal behind most specialty scar oils. Specialty scar and stretch mark oils cost $25 to $50 a small bottle. She did not need an expensive label to keep her skin cared for through every stage of life. Before we get to the top 8, if you are finding these forgotten remedies useful, hit subscribe right now. I post forgotten home remedies and money-saving household secrets that your great-grandmother relied on before every little bottle came with an expensive label attached. Most people watching this right now have not subscribed yet. Change that so you do not miss what is coming. Back to the list. Number 8, warm castor oil pack for sore muscles. Sore, achy muscles after a long day of work were never something your great-grandmother paid a clinic to address. Soak a soft cloth in warm castor oil, place it over the sore area, and cover it with a dry towel for 15 to 20 minutes while resting. This traditional warm pack method has been used for generations for comfort, though it should not be treated as a cure for any underlying medical condition. Muscle rub creams and heating pads cost $9 to $20 depending on the product. She called it her warm pack, and she reached for it after every long day in the garden. Number 7, makeup remover. Stubborn waterproof makeup was never something your great-grandmother scrubbed off with a harsh chemical wipe. Apply a small amount of castor oil to a cotton pad and gently wipe over the face, letting the oil dissolve the makeup before rinsing with warm water. The oil breaks down waxy, waterproof formulas far more gently than many commercial removers. Makeup remover wipes cost $6 to $8 for a pack that disappears within a month. She did not need a specialty wipe to take her makeup off at the end of the day. Number 6, body moisturizer for dry skin. Dry, rough patches of skin on the elbows and knees were never something your great-grandmother covered up with an expensive lotion. Massage a small amount of castor oil into dry areas after a shower while the skin is still slightly damp. The thick oil seals moisture into the skin more effectively than many lighter lotions on particularly rough patches. Specialty moisturizing creams for dry skin cost $12 to $20 a tube. Our great-grandmothers understood that one rich oil could replace an entire shelf of lighter lotions for the toughest spots. Number 5, garden insect deterrent spray. Aphids and soft-bodied insects on garden plants were never something your great-grandmother sprayed with a harsh chemical pesticide. Mix a tablespoon of castor oil with a few drops of dish soap into a quart of water, shake well, and spray it directly onto affected plant leaves. The oil coats soft-bodied insects and disrupts their ability to feed and breathe, a method gardeners have relied on for generations as a gentler alternative to harsh sprays. Commercial organic pest sprays cost $10 to $15 a bottle for a similar combination. She mixed a fresh batch in her garden shed whenever the aphids showed up. Number 4, preserving stored grains and beans. Weevils getting into stored dry beans and grains were never something your great-grandmother accepted as a normal part of pantry storage. Lightly coat dry beans, rice, or grains with a few drops of castor oil before sealing them in an airtight container for long-term storage. This old preservation trick was commonly used before modern sealed packaging became standard, helping deter pests from infesting stored food. Specialty pest-proof storage containers cost $15 to $25 each. Before sealed packaging existed, your great-grandmother had already found her own way to protect a winter's worth of food. Number 3, polishing houseplant leaves. Dusty, dull-looking houseplant leaves were never something your great-grandmother ignored for months at a time. Wipe a tiny amount of castor oil onto a soft cloth and gently buff the surface of large, sturdy plant leaves, avoiding fuzzy or delicate varieties. The oil leaves a light shine on the leaf surface while helping lift dust that has settled over time. Specialty leaf shine sprays cost $8 to $12 a bottle. She kept her houseplants looking cared for with the same bottle she used everywhere else in the house. Number 2, hair growth scalp massage. Thinning, slow-growing hair was never something your great-grandmother addressed with an expensive growth serum subscription. Massage a small amount of castor oil into the scalp once or twice a week, using circular motions to improve blood flow to the area before washing it out. Many people have used this practice for generations, believing it supports healthier-looking hair, although robust scientific evidence specifically confirming increased hair growth from castor oil remains limited. Hair growth serums and treatments cost $25 to $60 a bottle, often sold on a recurring subscription. Our great-grandmothers understood that consistency with a simple, affordable oil mattered more than an expensive label. And here's number 1. Everything on this list so far has lived in the bathroom cabinet or the kitchen drawer, solving a beauty task or a small household chore. This last one has nothing to do with skin, hair, or furniture at all, and it might be the most surprising use on the entire list. Moles and voles tunneling through a lawn or garden bed push frustrated homeowners toward expensive pest control services or specialty repellent products that can cost $40 to $80 per treatment, sometimes requiring repeat visits throughout the season. Your great-grandmother and the farmers of her generation had a simpler answer growing right in the garden shed. Mix castor oil with a small amount of dish soap and water, then soak the affected areas of the lawn or garden bed thoroughly with the mixture, repeating every few weeks as needed. Castor oil contains a compound called ricinoleic acid, which moles and voles find unpleasant in the soil they tunnel through, and several university extension programs studying home pest control have found castor oil-based treatments can meaningfully reduce mole and vole activity in treated areas without using poison. Commercial castor oil-based repellent products sold at garden centers today are built on this exact same compound, often at a steep markup for a bottle that does what a homemade mixture can do for a fraction of the price. Think about what that means. An entire pest control industry sells repellent products and recurring treatment visits built around a single compound your great-grandmother already had on the shelf in the garden shed. They do not advertise how simple the underlying mixture really is, because a service visit with a branded sprayer sounds far more convincing than a homemade batch mixed in a bucket. Your great-grandmother never needed a service contract to keep her lawn and garden in order. She mixed what she had, watched it work, and passed the trick down the same way she passed down everything else in that small, dark bottle. 21 uses, 1 bottle of castor oil, pennies per application, and a wisdom that never needed a marketing budget to prove itself. Which one of these are you going to try first? Drop it in the comments right now, because I read every single one. And if your great-grandmother used castor oil for something I did not cover in this video, share it. This community holds knowledge that cannot be found in any book, and every tip shared here keeps something alive that deserves to be remembered. If this video helped you, hit subscribe. I post forgotten home remedies and household secrets that save real money every single week.